Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vrachachana Ranchana. Yashodanandana Vrachachana Ranchana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kuncha Bihari. Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kuncha Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shri Prahlad Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki. Shishi Panchatattva ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. I will speak in English, since we have a guest here. We always speak in German. Rosemarie, magst du bitte ins Deutsche übersetzen? Für die Gishoriko und Parambrosha. Can I have an English Bhagavad Gita, please? And here's the Deutsche Gishori. No. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Vasudev. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Warm water, thank you. So, we're reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. Text 11. Sarvatvareshu dehesmin. Sarvatvareshu dehesmin. Prakasha upachayate. Prakasha upachayate. Jnanam yada tada vidyat. Jnanam yada tada vidyat. Vivridham sattvam ityuta. Vivridham sattvam ityuta. Savatvareshu dehesmin. Prakasha upachayate. Jnanam yada tata vidyat. Vivrittam sattvam ityuta. Please chant. Savatvareshu dehesmin. Matachis. Sarvatvareshu, in all the gates. Dehe asmin, in this body. Prakashaha, the quality of illumination. Upachayate, develops. Jnanam, knowledge. Yada, when. Tada, at that time. Vidyat, no. Vivridham, increased. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Iti uta, thus it is said. The manifestations of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. Purport. There are 9 gates in the body: 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, the mouth, the genitals, and the anus. When every gate is illuminated by the symptoms of goodness, it should be understood that one has developed the mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness, one can see things in the right position. One can hear things in the right position, and one can taste things in the right position. One becomes cleansed inside and outside. In every gate, there is development of the symptoms of happiness, and that is the position of goodness. Om Jnana Timirandasya Kyananchana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpa Darubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai, nochmal der Vers. The manifestations of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. The gates of the body illuminated by knowledge. What does that mean? It's an interesting topic. The 9 gates. It is said if a yogi wants to leave this material world, there's a way how you can attain liberation by your own endeavor, by learning how to close the 9 gates. And I actually tried it. Not in an extent, but there's some yoga practices. For example, when we do Brahmari Pranayama sometimes here, the bumblebee's breath, we close our eyes with 2 fingers. We close we kind of, not close, but we put the little finger, pinky finger on the upper lip. So it's a sign of closing the mouth. Advanced version would be you put the ring finger also on the nostrils. You can't close it fully, otherwise you can't breathe. And the thumb on the auricle here in the ear. And then advanced version would be you also close, activate Mula Bandha. It's the root lock, the point between the anus and the genitals, or both. You squeeze when you have to go to the toilet and you hold it back. It's very powerful. So you could close the gates, but nobody of us yet experienced to shoot out of the Brahmarandra. It says it's the point here, where we have our seeker. At the point of the crown chakra, many think it's here, but actually it's here. And the soul can leave the body from this point. And for example, when you die in ignorance, it says you pass stool, because the soul leaves the body from the anus. And it's also called, in the 4th canto, it is described as asura, as demoniac. The genitals were asura, and the anus, can't remember exactly, but it was giving the example that when you be in passion, it's the genitals influencing you. Everything is driven by lust and sexual desire. What is representative for the demonic nature. And from the anus, if you pass from there, it's very inauspicious. It means you go to lower species of life. And we know when people leaving this world, most of them or all of them, they pass urine and stool. It is also said because of fear of the Yamadutas coming with hellish dogs or hell dogs. Many years ago, maybe 10, 12, 13 years ago, I watched some series and some ghost hunters, and then they had these hell hounds or dogs coming and getting the souls if they were sinful. And then later I heard it in the Bhagavad, and I was like, wow, that's cool. Yeah. And people are afraid if you face death. It's like terrible feeling. Now recently my Guru Maharaj left this body, left this world, and it was very auspicious. Everything was auspicious. And because God realized persons, they learn automatically, their gates are differently engaged. Our gates now are mostly influenced by passion and ignorance, but how it is described here, actually, the gate should be illuminated by knowledge, by sattva guna, by experience happiness. Now when we taste something, we eat something, most of the time after we suffer because we eat the wrong things, we eat too much, or things what is not suitable for our bodily constitution. This is mode of passion or mode of ignorance. Mode of goodness will be you eat something and you feel happy afterwards, you feel nourished, you feel healthy, this mode of goodness. And this we have with all our senses. When I visit my parents, for example, when I cook some vegetarian dishes and offer it to Krishna, prasadam, and then this, it stinks, all this turmeric powder and chili, and okay, chili is not so sattvic, but and oil, and they don't like it. My mother likes it a little bit, but the rest of the family, they can't stand the smell of prasadam. And opposite, I can't stand the smell of meat. It's like, if you don't eat meat for some time, it's not, you can't smell it. Like go on a Christmas market, you almost die. It's like, it's really disgusting. Or if you go in the meat section in the Edeka, sometimes you have to pass there. When my daughter is with us, and my wife always holds her nose and mouth and just runs quickly into the section. She shouldn't get exposed. But anyways, we can't protect all of them. It's Kali Yuga. So the senses are always engaged with these material modes, and the gates needs to be purified. Or we have smell, for example, for us would be we smell some nice flowers or prasadam, tulsi. That is even more transcendental. Or hearing, people like to hear all kinds of demonic music. I remember I was in this conspiracy theories. I mean, maybe it's not theories actually, but anyways, and there was all this occult music industry, all the new age, all the music, whatever we listen nowadays. I don't want to mention names, but what was popular the last 20, 30 years, or maybe even longer. It's, if you listen to this text, it's very degrading. It's all about sex and some degrading elements, pornography and homosexuality and drugs. Everything is like okay, you hear it in the music, and people are attracted by that because the senses, the gates are not purified. So like meat eaters have taste for meat. A self-realized person, he can't enjoy the smell of meat. Or we want to see, as soon as the eyes are engaged with something, we like to see, we like to enjoy with our eyes. It's so important for us to see something nice. For us, if we go outside in the nature, you see the sunset, or you see the ocean, the forest, Nishingadev. You see devotees shining, emanating pure love of Krishna with tilaks on their forehead. It's beautiful. Yeah. For other people, something else is beautiful. Gothic style, very dark. Everything is dark and black. But it's their taste. Yeah. So we have to purify our gates, and that's not a process for us of yoga and controlling it by meditation and all kinds of pranayama, even though it's possible, but I think it's a very quarrelsome and difficult way to obtain perfection and to realize the chitta, to be the perceiver of oneself. The process of yoga should lead there that we can control our mind, that one of the goals of yoga is to establish yourself in the mode of goodness, because in goodness the mind will be happy, because if you're full in goodness, all the gates will be also influenced by the mode of goodness, and then the mind is happy. The mind can be only happy in the mode of goodness. In the mode of passion, we always want something more. We always want to accept and reject. It's always the same. And in the mode of ignorance, anyways, you only do things what is actually degrading you more and more. And in yoga philosophy, it's all about to perceive the chitta, the self, to know. I mean, chitta has many translations: the self, the heart, feelings, emotions, the consciousness. It stands for the mind, intelligence, and the ahankara. And then it's different. The mind, many translations is chitta is the mind, but that's actually not true. Mana is the mind. Chitta is much more, have much more things included. Just recently I heard something nice, because I'm just studying a little bit the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, and it's all about controlling the mind and then also worship God in your heart. But one devotee, he said, yoga is not about controlling the mind. Yoga is about to realize you're not the mind. We don't want to control the mind. Like, we try, but we fail. It's so difficult. I can guarantee you, since many years of practicing yoga, and it doesn't lead to anything. Like, it helps me to be more focused, more clear, to feel more light, more free. I can be more conscious of what I'm doing, focus on Krishna, much easier. That's okay, but to really go deeper, because I do a yoga session or some meditation or whatever, and then after I wake up kind of from my sleep, I just want to eat something. And so now I did yoga, now my fire of digestion is working, now I can have nice prasadam, Nandimuk is khichdi, 2 plates. But that's not the goal of yoga. Or if we hear also in the scriptures, many yogis, for many years they meditate, and all of a sudden they hear an ankle bell. Some beautiful damsel is walking by, and they hear some ankle bell, and he's like, what is this sound? No, I can't look, I'm in samadhi. If you're in real samadhi, you don't wake up anyways. You get not disturbed. And then they just get disturbed from the ankle bells, and then they look, wow, she's so beautiful. I need to have her now. I need to engage with her. And then what's the use of all the years of meditation if you can't control your senses? Also in samadhi, or for us, if you meditate and then you look for the best place, go out in the forest, and then there's sun rising, it's warm outside, a little bit windy, and nice weather, nice conditions, and you take a few deep breaths, you practice your Surya Namaskar, you go on your mat, you practice yoga, then you sit down and meditate, and all of a sudden, how you say, bremsen comes, like a maha mosquito. You know this bremsen? I don't know how to say it. You know bremsen? It's like really big. It looks like a fly, but it's like a mosquito. It's so big. And it bites you and it almost kills you. And you can't get rid of it. And actually this happens to me. I was last year I did some videos and I did yoga, and then I sat down, and the moment I sat down, this thing came and bit me. Or even flies, you just sit down outside and flies are coming. We're so disturbed, we can't even be detached from this material world. Actually, yogis go to the river. Apparently there's less flies. But I have other experience because there's more mosquitoes there. Huh? Horsefly. What a name. Nicht tödlich. Oh. It was a joke.
In Australia, they're nothing.
No, but here, like here, when I walk outside Chapa walk in summertime, they following me. I have to run, really. But it's really intense, like, you know. Don't yeah. But if I would be in samadhi, I wouldn't even recognize. I would be so absorbed. Yeah, this consciousness, this chitta, needs to be purified. It's all about to purify the mind, to purify the heart. In Buddhism philosophy, even it's chitta. The word chitta stands for body, for mind and heart. They say there's no difference between the mind and the heart. We see it a little bit different. Yesterday I read also that the heart is represented, or wait. The consciousness. No, I forgot it. It's about Vasudeva represents consciousness. Aniruddha represents the mind. Shiva, who worships Shankarshan, represents the ahankara, and Pradyumna, the intelligence. It's the 4 expansions of Krishna, Balaram, Mahasankarshan, and the Jatavyura. And for us, the only way to purify the mind, to purify the consciousness, Because we as devotees, we don't want to purify the gates, the 9 gates. It's not, I don't wake up in the morning to purify the gates. Or do you wake up to purify the gates? Or do you wake up to be in Sattva Guna? Or why wake up actually in the morning? Why? Why should we wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, that's one. But this is not this is your motivation to be in Sattva Guna. What is your motivation?
Yeah, to be in Sattva Guna, but that's only the means to, it's in German, Sprungbrett to the spiritual is Sattva Guna.
Yeah, but why wake up? You wake up to be in Sattva Guna, really? It's so boring. Yeah, we wake up to see Krishna, obviously. And it helps us if we wake up every day at the same time. This is mode of goodness. To be steady. My Guru Maharaj said, one of his last words was, steadiness wins the race. I thought like, wow. Because he told me once, I asked him for some instructions, and he said, forget it. I just want you to be steady. Be steady in your service. Be steady in book distribution, serving the Vaishnavas, chant your rounds in the morning. And then we can talk later. First, be steady. Or his last message, to follow the 4 principles and chant 60 rounds of Mahamantra and try to spread this movement. Yeah, this is sattvic, to be steady, to wake up in the morning, to chant our rounds. But that's not enough. That's not enough to purify our heart. There has to be some conscious endeavor. It's just a part. Obviously, you will get purified. But to really go deep, to really, really get rid of the krantis, of the knots in our heart, it's not just enough to follow a process and shut off your brain and just follow everyone else because everyone is doing it. After some time, you will get bored. You will not do it anymore. You will have no taste. You always have to ask yourself, why? Why you're here? Why did you came today to the Bhagavad Gita class? Why you wake up in the morning? Why you chant Hare Krishna? Why you read Srimad Bhagavatam? Why you're here? Holidays. Passing by. Yeah. Why we are here? Why are we doing what we are doing? We have to ask these questions. And then, when we know, or at least we think we know, then we can practice with different, eagerness and determination. Because at the end it should be to please Krishna, to do everything to attract Krishna's mercy. We need Krishna's mercy. We don't need to clean our 9 gates. Okay, we can do it, but also we don't want to purify our mind or still our mind. Would be nice. Every one of you have experienced a calm mind. It's nice. Come to my pranayama session. You will have peace of mind, completely stillness. It's really nice. You can chant nicely. It's different experience. It's like wow, because usually we're always in rajas, always thinking and willing and feeling. And then you're in sattva guna, then everything is nice. But no, we want to put Krishna in our mind. We don't want to negate the mind. We would like to put Krishna in our mind. So that's the difference between a yogi who practice Hatha Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and a bhakta. A bhakta wants to put Krishna in his mind. And then he gets purified. He wants to engage his senses in the Lord's service. Rishikesha, sevanam bhakti uchyate. Savupadi vinirmuktam, tatparatvena nirmalam. Then you will be free from all upadis, from all designations. Mukta, mukti, liberation, the upadis, so false identification or designations. Prabhupada also translates it with get free from the designations or to have no other desire than the desire to serve Krishna. That would be to be free from all false ego and designations means to engage in the service of the Lord. And then, if you serve the Lord with all your senses, you will get free from all material contamination. And then we can clean the gates very easily. We don't need to do anything. Krishna will take care. And we will get free from I and mine. Ishvaraham aham bhogi. I'm the enjoyer and I'm the controller. Yeah. And Krishna, he is in the heart. He sees everything, all our endeavors. He is the super soul. Ridantyasto Bhadrani Vidinoti Suritsadam. Always start from the middle. Shrinvadam Svagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is also known as the Super Soul, he sits in the heart and he purifies the heart, he cleanses the heart, and he will get rid of all material desires. If we just have the desire to hear the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the message of the Lord, then automatically we get purified. You don't need to even come to the Bhagavatam class, but if you have the strong desire, and obviously you want to try, not just you have the desire and then you never go. It has to be real. No, I want to go. Or maybe you can't go. For me, sometimes I would like to go, but I can't because of Seva. And the last 3 days I was so enthusiastic to read in the evening. I need to read Bhagavatam. It's the truth. Why? Because we get purified in the heart. We can feel Krishna's presence. And He will take away all our sufferings, all our designations. If we really properly hear, if we chant with all our heart, then we get cleansed. The mirror of our heart gets cleansed. Chetudapanamarchanam. It's also the word cheta, chitta, is the heart. Chetudapanamarchanam. Like a blazing fire. Chetudapanamarchanam Mahadevagni Nivapanam. Wie geht's weiter? Shreya Chandrika Kaira. Dann Vidyavadu Anandambu Divadanam Punim, no, warte, Punim Brat, Punam Ritas Vadam, Savatmas Napanam Param, Vichayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So that's the truth, that's the message. Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, chanting of the holy name together, so powerful. The process of the Yuga Dharma. And this will cleanse the heart from all the contamination, from all the material desires. Like a blazing forest fire, it will be extinguished from the chanting of the holy name. And it will spread the good fortune of the white lotus, like the moonshine, spreading the good fortune of the white lotus. Actually, I don't know what means the fortune of the white lotus. Sounds so nice. It's also the, how is it, you will get all knowledge from it, all education from the chanting of the holy name. And you will experience Anandam Buddhi Vadanam, unlimited transcendental bliss by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Yeah. So who cares about the 9 gates? It's nice. I can tell you, Mula Bandha is really powerful. Squeeze the perineum, lock this energy lock sometimes. Gives you lots of energy, grounds you, calms the mind. I can recommend. But much better, as we all know, is chanting of the holy name with all your heart. And they should be all connected. Sevanam Bhakti Uchate, to serve the Lord. Then we get more taste for chanting. Then we chant, then we want to hear more about Krishna. Then we hear about Krishna. Then we want to chant more about Krishna. Then we're so enthusiastic. Then we want to serve more. Yeah. Where we get all this energy from, someone might ask. It all starts with the desire. If you have the desire, the strong desire to do something for Krishna, then we get the enthusiasm. Entheos is Latin or Greek, Greece, how is it Greece? Means from God inspired, the translation. So enthusiasm means somebody is inspired by God. So all the great enthusiasts around the world, also non-devotees, are actually all inspired by God's energy. And for devotees, if you have the strong desire, we get the enthusiasm, the inspiration by Krishna, and then we get unlimited energy to fulfill everything Krishna desires. Every one of us experienced the festivals or some India trip. You're sick the whole time, but you have such strong desire. You're so enthusiastic that somehow you can do 1 week parikrama in Navadvip. Yeah, it's very austere, but very ecstatic. So Krishna can make everything happen, can give us all the energies. All his energies are in his holy name. When the Vaishnava speaks, if we listen, open our heart. Not just listen with these ears. Open the ears of your heart. Let the message sink in. And then we get purified, and automatically, naturally, we will be in the mode of goodness. And then it's easy to practice Krishna consciousness a lifetime. Okay, thank you for your kind attention. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Chai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Chai. There's no questions, or? Okay, one question, two. But here's the mic.
You said that the holy name it manifests all knowledge and education. Can you maybe tell by experience how this takes place?
How?
How it takes place that the holy name, how would you say, manifests all knowledge and understanding?
1 second. Just look if somewhere here. In this verse it says, it is the life and soul of all education. I forget this. It's the life and soul of all education. But how does it manifest? You mean when you chant the holy name that you get all knowledge and all education? Yeah, I mean, everything started with hearing. You heard something. Then you ended up in the temple. You start chanting. And did you realize if you don't chant properly, you're not connected to the process, and you chant here and there a few rounds, and for me, is my remembrance is not so good. Like everything I knew, it's somewhat blocked. But if I have a good morning program, good sadhana, good hearing, good chanting, then all of a sudden, like I go and give a class, and then all of a sudden things come in my mind I never knew or can't remember anymore. Since 5 years I didn't talk about it, All of a sudden I remember a verse. But the other explanation I can't give you now. That's just my personal experience that when I chant and something is happening, all of a sudden the knowledge is more accessible. And also when you read, it's also glorification, it's also kind of chanting, especially if you read out loud. You'd also kirtanam, and hearing at the same time. And it's powerful. If you read every day, 1 hour, half an hour, you're connected to the knowledge. Everything will be revealed. And like Krishna says, if you hear the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Krishna will come in your heart. I mean, He's in your heart, but He will purify all your material desires. Everything will be removed. And then you can understand, Krishna will reveal Himself from inside. Or many times you think about something and all of a sudden somebody speaks about it in the lecture, or you open up the book and everything is there. Or many times happens. So yeah. Janardana? Microphone.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for a very nice class. Hari Bol. Just a couple of points. With your, it just reminded me what your Guru Maharaj said, one of his final words about steadiness winning the race. And it reminded me of the verse from the Bible about the race is not won by the quick, but by he that can endureth. So endurance, I guess, is a synonym for steadiness, perhaps, right?
Yeah.
Very similar. And on that point of steadiness, sometimes there are many obstacles to steadiness, but one of the obstacles that I find particularly difficult is the feeling of, sometimes, you might get a feeling of monotony, of repetition, and with the Rajasic mind, with the mind in Rajagun, it wants change, it wants action, it wants variety. So that can be a stumbling block to this steadiness. So do you have any advice on how to deal with this particular stumbling block in the form of feeling repetition or feeling monotony.
But you mean that's a stumbling block in being steady to you?
Yes, that's right.
How does it manifest?
So if it elaborates, for me, as I've experienced, because I've got a rajasic disposition, and it'll manifest as a lack of activity or a lack of action, or because we're used to operating in Rajagun, and the feeling of productivity is a good feeling, right? Okay. But producing what? What are you producing?
I got your point now.
Yeah, so perhaps you can comment on that.
When my Guru Maharaj also told me about being steady, and later on I asked him, a few days later, you told me last time I should be steady in my service. So it means to be steady, you know. And he referred to Nishta, to be steady, that whatever happens, even though if you have even a fall down, or your mind is slackening, or you didn't finish your rounds, or even you broke a principle, could happen, you know. But you're unshakable, you continue, you fully focused, you know, okay, the next day I do my best, I do my sadhana, I surrender again and again and again and again. That it means with steadiness, that you never stop doing the process, never stop chanting your rounds, never stop giving up, following the principles, associating with devotees, worshipping the Lord, chanting, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. That means you steady, that we're all conditioned, we're all Rajasic, we're all humans. It's you get a body. If you're in Rajaguna, you die in Rajaguna, you get human form of life. Tamaguna, you will be an animal. Sattvaguna, you will go up to the heavenly planets. So it's normal to be Rajasic, to make mistakes, to have desires or fame, repetition. It's in all of us. Sexuality. It's not just gross sexual life, it's also Ruhm, Ehre, Anerkennung, fame, recognition. Distinction. So this is in all of us. It's for more, it's more manifest, for some less, but it's everyone wants to be the controller, everyone wants to be the great. It's all about me. Look at the baby, for example. They always say the babies are so pure, they have no false ego. Really? They're running around like the whole universe turns around.
The biggest egos, yeah.
Yeah. Or it's mine, give it back. It's like, really, wow. Yeah, how it manifests. But they can't be steady yet, they don't know about it. But for me means to be steady, to every day, again and again, just do my thing. Do my sadhana, please my spiritual master, please the devotees. Do my service. If there's an atom war, I will still do the same thing. I mean, now we have Ukraine war, and the devotees, they come here, but they're still doing their devotional activities. They are chanting, they are serving, associating with devotees.
It seems that it inevitably involves controlling the mind to some extent. Yeah. Because if you're not controlling your mind, then you'll say, well, maybe I'll try this place. Italy looks good this time of year.
Yes.
I mean, to a certain extent, one must control the mind.
Yeah. You have to control the mind. Sometimes you have to just beat the mind, just say, hey, I'm in control. Like my Guru Maharaj also said many times, or somebody remembered some pastimes with him, and then he spoke about, he was very tired and he came back very late from a preaching program, and my Guru said, okay, tomorrow I will not go to Mangalarati. It's too late, I can't come. Well, next day they saw him all in the Mangalarati. Then he said, no, he has to go, you know. If one time he says his mind, no, he's not doing it, then the mind wins. And then somebody recently mentioned to me, if you make it to a habit twice, if you don't go for Mangalarati, for example, twice, it will become to a habit. So once is okay, but the next day, okay, you start again. And that's difficult to overcome the mind, but that's why we practice and we have association. We live in a brahmachari ashram because everyone wakes up. It's naturally to wake up, to go to Mangalarati, to chant your rounds. As Grihastha is different. You have to really be on the game, you know. In the evening you have to know, okay, tomorrow I want to chant my rounds, I have to go to bed. I have to wake up. Nobody's there watching you. Even now I'm Grihastha, I live on the property. But sometimes I just say, okay, today I don't go. I sleep longer. Today I slept longer, it was terrible. I No round start in the morning, and then quickly chant 3-4 rounds, go cooking breakfast. Then the whole day I have to catch up my rounds, doing puja, and it's difficult. But if you wake up in the morning, and your mind also understands, your mind gets taste. And von Nishta comes ruchi, taste. So from steadiness, also in a material sense, if you're steady doing every day the same, especially in a spiritual environment, you will get taste from it. I mean, we're doing this whole thing every day, again and again and again. People ask us, are you not bored? You always sing the same mantra. Do you have anything else to sing? No, but we get taste from it. To wake up. And to wake up in the morning is very ecstatic. If you steady wake up every day, you're in the flow of Krishna consciousness. It's nice. Anyways, I'm not qualified in being steady. I'm still aspiring and trying to follow this instruction to be steady. But yeah, steadiness wins the race. It's nice, huh? Thank you. Oh, okay, one last question. I need to go to bed early, otherwise I will not wake up tomorrow.
Can we understand this purifying the 9 gates, like also using these gates in the service to the Lord, and also, for example, the 4 regulative principles? So it's also like we don't have to do like a yogi would do, like purifying the gates. Yes. It's true, but I think in our practice we are already, in a way, we are practicing what this verse is saying, isn't it? I don't know.
Yes. We're also practicing yoga, because yoga is only in connection with Krishna. Like karmis, for materialistic people, or even people who are following Vedic instructions, karma kanda, it's karma. But devotees, we practice karma yoga, for example. We renounce the fruits. And yoga in that sense means actually connection to Krishna. So yoga, what nowadays is yoga, is anyways no yoga if it's not connected to God. If it's just for health and mind, it's not really yoga. But yeah, the gates you can purify with devotional service. You smell prasadam, you smell the flowers offered to Krishna, you see the deity, you hear the holy name, you hear the Bhagavad psalm, you hug devotees. In the kirtan it says when you dance, you should touch devotees, you get purified by touch. Skin gets purified. Yeah, so we can, I don't know how to purify the genitals and the anus. Okay, actually I read about it. The genitals you purify when you engage in getting Krishna conscious children. And the anus if you don't overeat, and if eat only Krishna prasadam, because if you overeat, it will be painful. If you evacuate, you will get stomach pain. It doesn't feel nice. So when you go to the toilet, it should feel nice. You should feel good afterwards. Yeah. Then it's yeah. So we can purify the gates very easily. There's many ways how to purify them, but for us, obviously, we engage them in Krishna's service, and then yeah. It's so easy, I know, but we're all struggling. But in one sense, it's very easy to be Krishna conscious. Is the easiest thing in the world. The most natural thing to be Krishna conscious, or the soul should be with Krishna. It's all about desire and mindset. Anyways, Hare Krishna. Thank you for your kind attention. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Bhakti Yoga ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. You and all of you ki jai. Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. I think we long time didn't speak English, always German now. But usually we have more guests than we speak English also. Where are you from? You were